Hello，你好，欢迎回来，Welcome back. Wisdom Wednesday with Johnny Tiger on December 3rd, 2025. Oh wow, I can't even remember how long ago it was when we did the last Wisdom Wednesday, but I do remember that I was just in the middle of the feng shui or feng shui. I'm going to pronounce this the proper Chinese way because when I say feng shui, I feel like I'm going to bite my tongue and make me wince when I say uh, Chinese pronunciations with that weird English intonation. So feng shui. Okay, we were talking about feng shui, and I promised you guys that I was going to come back and talk about it. So well, yeah, took a while, but I am back. Here we are. We are going to seriously get down to talking about feng shui today. Now, in addition to being super busy in the last couple of months, honestly, the biggest reason why I procrastinated is because feng shui is very complicated, and it's something that people literally need to study for years and years to really understand how it works. How complicated can it be? Well, let's do a shallow dive into it. And believe me, when we say feng shui, what we're going to be talking about today barely touched the tip of the iceberg. So feng shui, or feng shui, like some of you would hear sometime, um, is basically the ways to manipulate what's around you to change your luck. Okay, feng means wind, and shui means water. Now, before we go into it, I want to tell you guys something that is very interesting. If you do a research on what is feng shui on the Chinese Wikipedia, called Baidu, it's basically like Wikipedia here, where you look up something and it gives you the encyclopedia entry on what it is. Now, if you look up feng shui in the Chinese Wikipedia Baidu, in the beginning it says feng shui is an old world superstition of fortune and luck. But if you continue to read, near the end of the article, it said feng shui is a science that accumulates and utilizes geology, archaeology, psychology, and meteorology, and a whole lot of other science. It's a conglomeration of all these scientific findings. Now, it is very rare that you're going to find something that's being classified both as an overall superstition and yet it's classified as a science. Okay, because you either you're a science, which is proven by fact, or you're a superstition, which is believing something blindly. Very rarely will you come across something that is that is both. But feng shui is one of those things that if you want to choose to believe it, then yes, there's a lot of logic and scientific fact behind it. But if you choose to say, oh no, it's just silly superstition, well, then you're not wrong either. So Chinese people believe that there are five things that's going to determine how successful or how unsuccessful your life is. And in this particular order, from the most important element to the least important element, is number one, fate, number two, fortune, number three, feng shui, number four, karma, and number five, education. That's crazy, right? I mean, nowadays everybody think education is everything. You know, you need education to do this and do that, and it's not wrong because after all, it is one of the five elements that's going to determine if your life is successful or not. But it's ranking really low. It's the last element. It's the number five element. So let's take these one at a time, right? The number one thing that's going to determine if you're successful or not is fate, destiny, fate. Okay, now some people believe in fighting against your fate, and you can overcome your fate, and that's all very good, very inspirational. But you can't deny that being born with healthy body helps. You can't deny that being born with good genetic help. You can't deny that being born a super genius helps. You can't deny that being born in a very, very rich family helps. You can't deny that being born in a civilized country definitely helps. Okay, so as much as we like to say that destiny is not everything, and you should make your own destiny, no, believe me, how you are born, what you're born with, where you're born, all that plays a really important part on how successful you're going to be for the rest of your life. So this is why fate is placed as the number one important factor in determining how successful you'll be. The number two most important element in determining if your life is successful is luck, fortune. Um, and again, some people want to argue about that. Some people say the luck got nothing to do with it. Believe me, in this lifetime, what happened to us, how successful you get, how far you get in life, a majority of it is luck. And it is luck that you don't get hit by a car. It is luck that the airplane you're in doesn't go down in flames. It is luck that you find the job when you found the job. It is luck when you meet someone who recognize your excellence and make use of it. And it is also bad luck when you get into an accident. It is bad luck when someone gets the job that you were looking for. So those those people that deny that luck has a big part to do with how successful you are in life, then you have not have things snatched away from you because of some WTF misfortune happening in your lifetime. So it's really like as much as what you are born with, how lucky you are running into the right people, being at the right place at the right time, do the right move at the right time. It's very essential to how successful you are. So number one is fate, number two is luck, number three is our topic of the day, feng shui. Feng shui means how to manipulate your position, how to manipulate your luck. Okay, so let's say you got some bad luck. Let's say you are born with some lousy destiny. You're born in a bad place. Okay, understanding feng shui allow you to fight against it. Understanding feng shui allow you to change your environment, change your attitude, change your outlook, and allow you uh, to a certain degree, change your fortune and the direction that you're going. Okay, so feng shui is the number three most important thing to determine if you are successful or not in your lifetime. Number four, karma. Okay, karma. We hear about this one a lot. You do this, so that happen. You do a bad thing, and something bad happen. You do good thing happen. So this is usually very straightforward. If you want to have a successful life, then do some more good things. But karma is finicky, okay? Because you never know if the effects are going to be immediate or next lifetime or two lifetimes from now, or if the effects are going to be what you thought is what's going to be. Okay, so karma, while it's still very important, and understanding karma will allow you to manipulate luck and destiny to a certain degree, it is not guaranteed. It's very hard to understand karma and figure out where you need to go. And because we none of us know what happened in our previous life. None of us know how much good karma we started out with, how much bad karma we started out with, because it is not a blank slate when you're born. How much good karma you have, how much bad karma you have is accumulated from many lifetimes. But we don't remember our previous lifetimes, so none of us know if the cards are stacked against us right from birth or not, where karma is concerned. Number five, education. This one goes without saying. The more educated you are, the more uh, possible that you're going to make educated decisions, good decisions that can help you understand karma, understand feng shui, understand what to do to change your luck. The more educated you are, the more hopefully you will grow and change and adapt to new situations. So education is number five most important element for success. So again, the five things that are going to determine if you have a successful life is fate, number one, fortune, number two, feng shui, number three, karma, number four, education, number five. Now let's focus on feng shui. So the art of feng shui was not always called feng shui. In the very beginning, for the first couple of thousand years, feng shui was called the art of kan yu. Kan yu, kan means the sky, the heaven, and yu means the ground. So the art of kan yu basically meant to study and understand the heaven and earth, to understand the weather, to understand the ground. Simply put, know when there's going to be a storm, know when there's going to be a flood, know when there's going to be an earthquake, so you could position yourself in the right place at the right time and get away from danger. This was the very original form of feng shui. It's kan yu, the study and the art of heaven and earth. When did kan yu became feng shui? It happened around 1600 years ago during the Jin dynasty in China. There was a book written by um, a scholar, and this scholar first used the word feng, wind, and shui, water, to talk about kanyu. This scholar talked about that everyone in this world have energies inside their body. So when you die, that energy shouldn't be wasted because when you die, that energy is going to dissipate. So how do we use the burial ground? How do we choose the right burial ground to use nature to uh, leash that energy, to keep that energy around, so that energy, that good energy that we have inside of us, can be saved to benefit your descendants. Uh, and this scholar wrote in his book that this energy that is in every one of us, it dissipates on the wind, it drifts on the wind, and it is trapped by water. So it will move by feng, the wind, and it will trap and stay still when it's running into shui, water. So this was the very first time when feng shui, wind and water was used in conjunction with the original art of kan yu, the art of heaven and earth. And it started by talking about how to pick the right burial ground, where you need to have mountain, where you have to have water and what shape the mountain should be to best keep that energy going. Now, some people will ask the question, um, so if the energy is trapped by water, why don't we just bury people in the water? Why do we even need wind? If the wind will dissipate the energy, don't you want to keep all the energy? Don't you want to just have water? Why do you need feng? Why don't you just do shui? Think of the energy inside of us. Okay, think of it like a space heater, right? When you have a space heater, and let's say that heat is the energy that we're talking about, which it is. Heat is a form of energy. Do you want that energy to just stay in one place and not moving? No, right? Like you, this is why there's a fan and space heater to blow that energy out. This is why space heaters oscillate and turn so that energy, that heat, can move around to benefit people that actually want to get warm. So if your energy is just trapped in one place by the water and it's not moving, it won't benefit anybody. That energy need to be able to move around and benefit your descendants. But at the same time, just like a space heater, if you have a space heater in a wide open place, like a room with a door open and a window open, then you're not going to benefit from that heat because that heat from the space heater will just keep dissipating and it's not going to get trapped inside the room. So while you want that energy to move, you also want to control where it goes. You want it to stay in the room. So this is where water come into being. So the wind, like the fan on the heater, allows the energy to move around to benefit everybody. And then the water makes sure that that energy stay in the area and doesn't just dissipate into the ether. Now, this is where I want to call your attention to why I said that a lot of this feng shui stuff is actually very logical and very scientific. Okay, when it talk about energy is trapped by water, so where there's water, there's energy. When you think about it, most of the life on this earth came from water. Okay, that makes sense. And when you think about it, that most of the well-developed countries, well-developed civilization in this world has water. Okay, the rich countries have a lot of water. The poor countries have a lot of sand and mountain and rock. Okay, so where there's water, there's progress. Where there's water, there's money. Where there's water, there is life. So where there is water, there is energy. So feng shui, when they talk about shui, water, can keep energy around, can trap energy. It's quite logical. Now, within the study of feng shui, there are also four major branches of feng shui that we'll quickly look at. The four major branches is the art of xin, the art of li, the art of ru, and the art of genzhen. Um, you don't need to memorize all that, but I just want to talk about them just so we understand just how complex this whole stuff is. So the art of xin means the art of nature itself, the geography of things, where you are with in relation to mountains, where's the water, where's the river, because all that will um, affect your luck, your fortune, your chi, your well-being, right? Um, if some people say, "Well, no, that's nonsense," it doesn't matter, then let me give you a very simple, very simple example of how feng shui, how the xin, art of xin work. Okay, when you go outside and it's really, really cold, you can't tell me that standing beside the building versus standing in the middle of the street is the same. Okay, it's going to be different. Standing downwind or upwind is different. When it's raining outside, do you stand under the roof, or do you stand out there in the middle of the road, right? So learning how to use what's around you to change your current situation, your future situation, right? Because you know to stay under the roof when it's raining, you didn't get wet. So later, you don't walk around being wet and cold and you don't get sick. Okay, that is a very shallow and very simplified version of what Xin is about with regarding to feng shui, is to learn to watch what's around you, the water, the mountain, the rain, the snow, the rock. Watch out, there's a dip in the road. There's a mountain behind your house. That might not be a good idea because there's a landslide. Your house would go bye bye. All that stuff. That is the art of Xin. Next, we look at the art of Li, which is the art of organization. Now, Xin is to look at the outside, the geography around you, the ground and around you. Xin, there's not much you can do to change things. Okay, you might be able to cut down a tree if there's a tree in your yard, but even then you need a permit from the city. It's not very simple. Okay, so usually the only thing you can do with regarding the xin, the art uh, of where you are, is try to pick the best place to be. There's not much you can do to change the places, but you can move around yourself, right? You can pick to have your burial ground here. You can pick to have your house built there. That you might have some control over. Now, the art of Li, the art of organization, is something that you can control within your house. Where do you put the chair to have the best light? Where do you position the bed so someone breaking into your house, you'll have time to deal with it? Where do you place the table so you have the best use of the space around you? Where do you put the mop so you don't trip over it every day? Okay, this is how you organize things to maximize your luck, to maximize your potential. And again, just in case some people say it's just silly superstition, no. Now, do I believe that having a tank of fish in your house will bring you good luck? Probably not. But you know what? Having a tank of fish in your house means whenever you're stressed out, you can look at that tank of fish. You can look at the fish swimming around. That tank of fish might help you sleep better, might help you cope with stress a lot better, which means bring you health, a better mental health, better physical health in the long run, which means you'll be just that little bit luckier than other people. So if we look at it that way, then yes, that tank of fish in your house does bring you good luck. Third, we have the art of 日, means the art of days, time, picking the right time. Right? So first we have Xin, which is geography, and then we have Li, which is organization, and then now we have time, the art of time. Uh, Means pick the right day to do the right thing. Okay, you may not always have control over when it's going to rain, but you can control. Do you want to go do all your chores when it's raining, or perhaps wait for a sunny day? Perhaps wait for when you can get a ride. So, I mean, when you look at the old world version of what they say with regarding to feng shui and the date. They talk about, oh, no, this is a good day to get married because this day the stars align, and blah blah blah. That's too much mumbo jumbo and hocus pocus for me to understand. But I can tell you, knowing when to do what, knowing how to pick the right day to do things, does make a big difference in your life. So yes, maybe there's not a specific day or hour that is going to make your marriage last. But hey, I mean, wouldn't you rather pick a sunny day to get married on rather than a stormy, cold, windy day? Last but not least is the art of 更正, the art of correction. Okay, now this is very similar to organization. The art of correction is to learn. Okay, when you have bad luck, and we all have bad luck here and there. When you have bad luck, look around you. What am I doing wrong? Is there something about my house? Is there something that I about the organization of my house, or is there something about the date that this bad luck happened? To find out, to figure out what's wrong, and to make correction to change your luck. So the art of 更正 is uh, the ability to identify where the problem is and make the proper adjustment to balance things out. So that already sounds very complicated, but even more so, uh, to understand how feng shui works, you need to understand three very important elements. Number one, okay, the first element that will help you understand feng shui is to understand nature. What does that mean? To understand nature, to understand which day of the month you feel good, to understand how your body feel with full moon or half moon. We understand what hours of the day is the optimum for your body to function, to understand when to eat, when not to eat. Don't eat a big dinner before going to bed. Don't eat too much sugar. And when you have a full stomach, don't run uphill. Yada yada yada. To understand nature's design and how it relates to our body. This is the number one element to understand how feng shui works, is to understand our body, our design was relate to nature and weather and animal and plants and everything we put in our body, in our mouth, everything we have around us from nature's design. Number two element to understand with regarding to feng shui is to understand yin and yang. I know some people say yin yang, but the proper pronunciation is yin and yang. Now, yin and yang sound like something that you hear in Star Wars, or something again too magical. But to put it bluntly, it's just about balance. It's the negative and the positive. Okay, the negative and the positive, and the negative and positive will attract and balance each other out. And only by making sure everything is balanced can you achieve the best feng shui can offer you. Okay, if you are too much in one direction, if you're too hot, you're not happy. If you're too cold, you're not happy. You need to have a balance. If you're too full, if you eat a lot all the time, then your health will suffer. If you don't eat enough all the time, your health will suffer. Okay, it's about balance. Okay, if you work, you will suffer. If you don't work, you will suffer. It's about balance. Okay, so the art of yin and yang, while sound like some old world nonsense, it's just to tell you that you need to strive for balance in your life. The last And the third element to understand feng shui is to understand the five elements: the wood, the earth, the fire, the metal, uh, the water. Okay, to understand how the five elements work, how uh, water can put out fire, and fire can melt metal, and metal can pierce wood, and so on and so on, and how uh, 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 each element can benefit from the other one, and how each element can hurt the other one. To understand how the elements interact with each other means you will have a better understanding with how to adapt to different situations. Let's say you run into someone who is cold and inflexible and very stubborn like metal. Then maybe you want to warm them up with a little bit of warmth like a fire. Then they'll be more pliable, more likely to work with you, right? So to understand the five elements means to be able to adapt, to have different strategies when coming across different elements. But it's not as straightforward as um, water will put out fire. So water is uh, uh, better than fire. It's not as straightforward as that, because while yes, water can put out fire, if the fire is really big, like those California wildfires, then it doesn't matter how much water you throw on it. The water will turn to steam before it does anything to the fire. So the elements is not written in stone. How who they benefit, who they are bad for, who they're good for. It's all dependent on how strong the element you're dealing with is at that particular given time. So if you are water and you run into someone who's fire, the, normally you will think, okay, I'm water and he's fire. That means he will defer to me and I'll be able to control him very easily. Not necessarily. If this person who is fire, if his chi is very strong, if his fire is very strong, and you just happen to be having a bad day and your water is very weak, then you're not going to be able to do anything against that fire. So, yeah, the five elements of which how they interact with each other is very complex. Like I said, what we talked about was regarding the feng shui today, the different branches of feng shui, the art of organization, the art of time, the art of geography, the art of uh, 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 fixing or repairing. Uh, it's and then the three elements that you need to understand: nature, balance, and the five elements. We're barely scratching the tip of the iceberg with understanding how feng shui work. People who study feng shui study this for many years. Some of them starting to learn the chart, the star chart, and the various ancient texts from the age of 9 or age of 10, and by the time they're 30, they still don't understand everything about feng shui. Do you still believe that this is just all mumbo jumbo and old world superstition? Well, if you do, then please stay tuned, because next week I'm going to tell you a true story of the battle of feng shui that happened back in 1980s between some of the richest people in Hong Kong. Now, if feng shui is nothing but old world superstition, then why is it that these super rich people who are super successful, super smart, would go to the trouble of having this battle about feng shui? Stay tuned, and we'll be back next Wednesday to look at the battle of feng shui. For now, 谢谢 and 再见。